give you a brief overview of Xcode. On the left side of the window is the navigation sidebar with all of the resources for your project organized for you. And in the center is the main editor for the files you select from the navigator sidebar. And then the right is an inspector sidebar that changes based on the file you're editing. We're not going to need the inspector sidebar, so I'm going to go ahead and hide it so that we have a little bit more room to work with. Now, let's take a look at the files that make up a new Safari Web Extension project. And at the top of the navigator sidebar is the project file. When you select it, it opens the main editor to a configuration option screen for the project. Now, below that is the shared app folder, and this has the resources for the app launch screen. When you click the disclosure triangle next to the resources folder, you'll see it's just web resources. In fact, it's just an HTML file that you can edit. And the template sets you up to easily customize the markup, the styles, and the script. And the shared extensions folder has all of the resources for our extension. And then when you expand the resources folder, you'll see all the familiar files for a web extension. The manifest is here, the background script, the content script, and the pop-up files. The iOS app and macOS app folders have platform-specific resources, and then below that, the iOS extension and macOS extension folders have extension-specific resources for those platforms. And we're not going to need to worry about them for this project, so I'm going to go ahead and put them away because all of our work will be in the shared extension files. And let's start in the manifest file. And you can see that the template provides everything we need to get started, including filling out the name and description from the project information. Below that, it specifies some
Hi, my name is Mike Boylan, and I'm a senior consulting engineer in Apple's worldwide field engineering team focused on macOS deployment and management. I'm really excited to help you prepare your organization for macOS Monterey. macOS Monterey brings powerful features designed to allow you to connect, share, and create like never before, get things done faster, and work seamlessly across Apple devices. And there are a number of platform changes, new management features, and lots of deployment workflow improvements for IT as well. In deploying macOS Big Sur, we covered changes to deployment and management for Mac computers with Apple Silicon, and went deep into deployment workflows with a focus on the macOS installer. And at WWDC 2021, we had a lot of sessions for you, covering a wide range of topics relevant to deployment and management of macOS. We'll recap some of the key points from these sessions, but we'll also share updates we've made since these sessions based on your feedback. There are improvements in macOS Monterey throughout all aspects of the deployment lifecycle, from initial enrollment to deployment and ongoing management, and return to service. Let's get started with initial enrollment. Automated device enrollment lets organizations configure and manage devices from the moment the devices are removed from the box, and enables you to use all available MDM functionality, including marking the MDM profile as non-removable. Automated device enrollment is designed for devices owned by the organization and works best with devices purchased directly from Apple or from participating Apple authorized resellers or carriers. We know that some devices may be purchased or donated from outside of the normal channels that support automated device enrollment. And for these scenarios, we're introducing Apple Configurator for iPhone, which will be available on the App Store. Apple Configurator for iPhone makes it easy to assign any supported Mac running macOS Monterey to your organization's Apple School Manager or Apple Business Manager, allowing you to take advantage of all of the great device management features that automated device enrollment enables. Using Apple Configurator for iPhone requires Mac computers with the Apple T2 security chip or Apple Silicon running macOS Monterey, and an administrator or device enrollment manager user to log in. You simply bring Apple Configurator for iPhone close to the Mac while it's in the setup assistant to start the process. Like on iOS, there's a 30-day provisional period where a user can opt out of the automated device enrollment by removing the MDM profile from the Profiles pane in System Preferences. This requires administrator credentials and will also remove the Mac from Apple School Manager or Apple Business Manager. For more information, watch the WWDC 2021 session, Manage Devices with Apple Configurator. Now let's turn to improvements for ongoing management tasks. We've talked about system extensions for a number of years now, and we hope that developers you work with have already made the transition away from kernel extensions. When deploying and managing system extensions, to avoid unnecessary approval prompts to users, best practice is to deploy the configuration payloads to approve the extensions before apps attempt to load them. But we know that's not always possible. So in macOS 11.3 and later, installing a system extension payload changes the state of the extension. For example, if a system extension is already pending user approval, installing the payload will activate the extension. Conversely, removing the payload will deactivate the system extension and mark it for removal on the next reboot of the Mac, allowing for a straightforward removal process. But to make it even easier to remove a system extension in macOS Monterey, there's a new configuration option in the system extension payload called Removable System Extensions. An app in this list can deactivate its own system extensions, for example, when an app is uninstalled. With this key set, there is no admin password required to remove the system extension, allowing for a fully automated removal. Many system extensions require more than just a system extension payload to fully configure them. For example, a system extension that is built with the network extension framework may need to set up a content filter, which you can enable and approve using a content filter payload. Some extensions may also require privacy preferences policy control payloads, and you may wish to manage notifications for critical apps that use system extensions. Check with your system extension vendors on configurations needed to fully enable and configure the solutions, as well as to inquire about their compatibility with any other system extensions that you plan to run at the same time. This is especially important if you plan to use products from multiple vendors together. For organizations that use FileVault and escrow a personal recovery key, or PRK, with MDM, macOS Monterey makes it easier to access Mac computers with Apple Silicon. In macOS Monterey, you can boot a Mac directly using the PRK without requiring a password change and an intermediary reboot through Recovery OS. This allows for much faster access to a Mac to troubleshoot or assist users. On this Apple Silicon MacBook Pro, the unified login experience, which is new to Apple Silicon, is shown. Notice that the login screen is respecting the option to show the username and password field instead of a list of users, even with FileVault enabled. To boot the Mac using PRK, you can simply press Option-Shift-Return and enter the PRK in the recovery key field. Simply press Return or click the forward arrow when finished to boot the Mac. Let's discuss our recommendation for using personal recovery keys or institutional recovery keys, also known as IRKs, with FileVault going forward. On Intel-based Mac computers, an IRK could be used to unlock a FileVault encrypted Mac, disable FileVault using the command line, or more commonly, to recover data using target disk mode. Using an IRK at scale is now considered legacy, and an IRK provides no functional use on Mac computers with Apple Silicon. Mac computers with Apple Silicon have Mac sharing mode instead of target disk mode, and it requires having access to Recovery OS to use. Alternatively, a personal recovery key, or PRK, is unique per encrypted volume, can be escrowed to MDM, and allows for easy key rotation after use. It can also be used on a Mac directly to access Recovery OS or to boot Mac OS, as we just showed on Apple Silicon. This process for Intel-based Mac computers is similar. A PRK is an extremely robust tool for organizations, and organizations currently using institutional recovery keys should use personal recovery keys instead going forward.
Nah, buka.
We continue to add additional user privacy protections to macOS.
Ay kan minta. Huwag na bilang Azam ay minta makan. Ay bilang Azam, Azam pakai telur. Saya kan sebelah Azam.
Now require user authorization. Authorization can be granted using a privacy preferences
Bilanglah suruh
policy
pesan
control
beli budak
profile
beli
from
lah.
NVM that grants full disk access or access to system administrator files.
Ayo, malam
Many
makan
MDMs
makan
already
lo.
grant their agent tools access to these
Udah
categories,
bersampo.
so it's possible your existing workflows won't need to change at all to accommodate this new protection. The built-in Kerberos extension offers a way to provide directory connectivity to an on-premise Active Directory environment without actually needing to bind the applicator itself to the directory. A one-to-one
Nggak
deployment
boleh, nanti dicuri. Nah,
Kerberos extension
sebenarnya boleh aja, cuman karena ada pencuri itu
instead of traditional directory binding and
ngambil-ngambil,
whenever possible.
ditukarkan yang
We
jelek.
built the Kerberos extension for
Makanya.
the operating systems macOS Catalina,
Makan dulu Gi.
iPadOS 13, and it is the replacement for Enterprise Connect on macOS. Enterprise Connect is officially sunset as of macOS Monterey, and running Enterprise Connect on macOS Monterey is not supported. The Kerberos extension has some new optional settings in macOS Monterey. You can now specify a preferred Kerberos Distribution Center, or KDC, for your Mac computers to use, and you can limit access to the Kerberos credential to only apps that match bundle IDs and a configured access control list that are explicitly installed as managed. Additionally, you can allow the standard system Kerberos utilities, including Ticket Viewer and K-List, to access and use the credential too. We've also improved the reliability for checking for required password changes. For more details on the Kerberos extension, please check out the Leverage Enterprise Identity and Authentication section from WWDC 2020. Since